Chess has been around for thousands of years. Many believe it originated in India. Odds are you've played the game or at least have heard of it. When I was 5 years old, my grandmother taught me to play. Since then, it's been a fascinating game to me. I don't play as much as I like to, but it is a fascinating game nonetheless, which may explain why I've taken a recent liking to the Lewis Chessmen. So, what are the Lewis Chessmen? Stay tuned and find out. Before we start the video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. The CBU Historical Society is not a big society and we don't monetize our videos, which means we don't earn any money off of them. These videos are just made purely for the sake of educational purposes. So thanks again for watching. Hi there, my name is Avery. I'm the president of the Cape Breton University Historical Society, and for today's video, we're going to take a look at the Lewis Chessmen pieces. For today's video, we'll look at the origin and discovery, as well as the chessmen individually, their details, how they were lost for almost 1,000 years, where they're currently located, and then to finish off the video, we'll talk about how these quaint little chess pieces have invaded their way into modern pop culture. Origin and discovery. According to the British Museum in London, they believe that the chessmen originated in Trondheim, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but Trondheim was the medieval capital of Norway in the 12th century. There's other theories that they may have came from somewhere like Iceland, but the Norway theory is the leading theory at the moment, at least. So with the chessmen coming from Norway, that technically means we have the Vikings to thank for them. Despite originating in Norway, the Lewis chessmen were actually found on the Isle of Lewis, which can be found in Scotland. This is also where they get their name, the Lewis Chessmen. Furthermore, the year they were discovered was 1831. Many credit a man named Malcolm MacLeod for their discovery, but that can't be proven, as we know next to nothing about him. Was he even a real person? Why did he never come forward as the founder of the pieces? We may never know. The chessmen. If you're unfamiliar with the game of chess, there are 6 unique pieces. For the pieces, I have laid out 2 different pictures for each one, as the chessmen were all unique. The first piece is the king, which is the most important piece in chess. If the king is taken out, the game's over. Checkmate. There's 2 pictures here. One of a king with no beard, he's clean cut, while the other king can be seen with a large beard. Both are holding their swords, maybe to show power perhaps. However, both swords are different too. Were these real kings, or was this just the way that the artist made the pieces? The next piece is the queen. The queen is the most powerful piece in chess, as she has the ability to move anywhere on the board. The 2 pictures here show 2 similar queens, but they're different in many ways. One is more detailed compared to the other, while both have different stances. One queen, which can be seen, which looks like she's holding a horn of some sort, while the other queen, instead of a horn, is holding her elbow. Take a look at the crowns too. The crowns are different. Again, in regards to the king, what I said there, were these supposed to be real queens that existed made in the chess forms? We now move on to the bishop. The bishop, like the queen, is quite powerful. However, the bishop can only move diagonally. As shown here with the two pictures, both bishops, unlike the king and queen, are completely different. One bishop is standing up, holding a staff with two hands, while the other one is sitting down with a staff, which looks like he's about to commence mass or something like that. Also, take a look at the hats. The hats, while both are similar, are different. The one on the left is more pointed, while the one on the right is more rounded on top. Next, let's review the knight. The knight, as seen here, is actually, all of them are quite similar to each other, except the only differences I could find was with the helmet. Now, the helmet on the left knight is more pointed, while the helmet on the right knight is more rounded. The hair also seems to be a little bit different on the horse. The horse on the left seems to have longer hair coming down the front, while the horse on the right seems to have shorter hair going into the back. Next, we're going to move on to my favorite Lewis Chessmen piece, which is the rook. Both rooks shown here are completely different, and one, I believe, depicts a Viking. The one on the right, which can be seen biting his shield like a madman, is supposed to depict a Viking berserker, while the one on the left could be a Saxon, or maybe it's another Viking, it's unsure, but this one looks more modest and, to tell you the truth, kind of looks a little bit scared compared to the other one. But the detail, however, on the one on the left are much better than the one on the right. There's not much to say about the pawn. If anything, they're the weakest link in the game of chess. They're really just there for a means of defense and possibly sacrifice, which may depict why these pawns in these two pictures here are quite simple, and they're not even supposed to depict people. They just look like stones with Nordic designs, Celtic maybe, etched into them. So maybe whoever made them realized that there wasn't a point of making people into pawns, as essentially they're kind of useless. Details. The details in the Lewis Chessmen are incredible. But what are they made of? Obviously, they are not made of plastic like many chess pieces are today, as plastic was not invented back then. Instead, they were carved out of walrus ivory and sperm whale teeth, which can give them their nice, smooth texture. The king is the largest piece. This makes sense as the king is also the most important piece in chess. The king stands at about 10 centimeters tall. The other pieces vary in size, from about 6 centimeters to 9 centimeters. Originally, some of the pieces may have been painted red as well, as scientists have discovered traces of mercury in their analysis. Mercury sulfide was often used for red pigments in paint. Lost to the ages. 93 chess and other old game pieces were found that day in 1831. 93 game pieces just don't end up being buried on a beach. So, what does this mean? Either someone or a group of people may have buried them there, or possibly they could have been shipwrecked there, as one of the theories suggests that a boat coming from Norway to Ireland could have crashed. Another, more romanticized theory suggests that a person of power, maybe a bishop or even a prince, could have buried them, as they may have been worth a lot. Whatever the theory, one thing is for certain. The Lewis Chessmen were buried for a reason. What do you think? Feel free to post your theory in the comments below. Where are they now? Since their discovery in 1831, the Lewis Chessmen have had many different homes. However, they currently reside in the British Museum, which can be found in London, as well as the National Museum of Scotland, which can be found in Edinburgh. The British Museum has the largest collection, while the National Museum of Scotland has a small collection of 11. Many have argued that the pieces should be returned to Scotland, as they were found there, considering that the National Museum of Scotland only has a small collection of 11, and it would make sense to have a full set there. Pop culture. Now, before we finish up the video, I first want to talk about how the chessmen have invaded pop culture in a way. The earliest pop culture reference I could find for the chessmen was in the form of an Agatha Christie book, The Big Four. On one of the original covers, the bishop piece can be seen front center on the cover. In the background, there is a dragon as well. What that means, I don't know, as I've never read the book. However, the next form of pop culture exposure comes in a little movie known as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which is the first movie in the set of 8. Harry and Ron can be seen sitting in the Great Hall playing chess while everyone is leaving for Christmas vacation. Hermione comes up, asks them what they're doing. They respond saying that they're playing chess. However, this is not normal chess. This is wizard's chess. The difference being that you don't move the chess pieces by hand. They magically move themselves. So, with it being magic, the chessman, every time you take out an opponent, will actually attack the opponent. So Ron's piece, I believe, takes its chair and hits it against Harry's piece, hilariously. Hermione responds, "That's barbaric." Ron, smug, just smiles and says, "That's wizard's chess." Now, the most recent pop culture reference comes in the form of a video game, that being Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which launched in November of 2020. As you move across England with your Viking settlement, you have an alliance map. After each alliance is made, a little chessman will be put down on the alliance map to signify that you have claimed the territory. And that was all the pop culture references I could find. Have you found more? If you have, please comment below. I'd love to read them. So with all that being said, we've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little mock lecture. I had a lot of fun researching the chessmen, and would like to thank the National Museum of Scotland for the information, as well as the British Museum for the photographs. Thank you for watching, everybody, and if you can, please subscribe, as a lot of time and effort went into making this video, and I would very much appreciate it. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video.